See, the days of no justice, no peace have proven to be dinosaur tactics. The days of marching through city streets have proven to be nothing more than mere mild cardio for the masses. See, what we have to understand is that if we want change, we have to realize that it's an inside job. At ease, it's your boy Soul Immortal. I realize that I view the world through a different lens than the majority of people, right? And that's why I rarely talk about politics. That's why I rarely talk about religion, because I know that my thoughts different than most. But when I see a large amount of people moving in a non-productive way, it speaks directly to me. You know what I'm saying? Now, there are a lot of things going on in the world, and I'm specifically talking about, the events that took place in Minneapolis, right? And the thing is, I'm seeing people desire change, and I think it's time, and I'm glad. But I just think that our means of obtaining that change are non-productive. Let's talk about it. First off, I want to give a shout out to my brother, Mr. Infinity. Yesterday on Instagram, I joined him on his IG Live. We had a very good discussion, and it actually sparked this video. So shout out to that brother, right? Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that all white people are the enemy, because after living 43 years on this planet, I'm fully aware that that's not even the case. In fact, I have several brothers and sisters that are white that have treated me like brothers and sisters my whole life. And in fact, I had a very interesting event happen a few weeks ago where a subscriber of mine that I now call a friend was traveling through Dallas and actually came and stayed a few days with me. And he actually documented that, so I'll be sure to leave a link. Now, at the same time, what I'm not going to do is act as if being black and being male in America is not one of the most difficult things that an American can experience, right? Now, during my time in the military, I spent several months, if not over a years worth of time in a hostile environment. And I can tell you that the thing that I noticed that takes a toll on a human being the hardest is being in a situation where you have to keep your head on a swivel 24 hours a day, right? And what I mean by that is being in a position where you have to be alert at all times. I'm telling you, this is something that drains a man. I've seen it. And for anyone, that's non-black, that wants to identify, that wants to feel what it's like to be black in America, that's the only way I can explain it. Because every black person in America, especially a black man, has to live with his head on a swivel at all times. And what I mean by that is, I just can't get up and go to the store without having so many extra thoughts. I can't get up and go shopping. I can't get up and go do normal things that a non-black person could do, because I have to be 3 or 4 steps ahead of what could possibly happen. You know what I'm saying? I have a very good friend of mine, white male, above 50, 55 years old. About a year and a half ago, we were out spending some time in Florida at an event. And I could tell that he wanted to say something to me. And he called me to the side and he asked me a question. He says, man, I have a friend, a very good friend, successful, degrees, nice home and cars. He's well off, right? And he's a black guy, right? And he said, he's telling me that he experiences certain things in life, and he said, man, I just couldn't believe it. And he said, is it really like that for a black person in America? And I was saying like, bro, like you have no idea. Like, it doesn't matter how many degrees you have. It doesn't matter any of that stuff. All that stuff goes out the window when you step out of your front door. You know what I'm saying? Then I began telling him things that I've experienced since my youth. And I'm telling you, his jaw dang near hit the ground. So when it comes to people that aren't black, not having certain empathy for situations that's going on, I'm not saying that's right. But what I understand now is that a lot of them, they just can't identify. Like they have no idea that this really exists. And I think that now a lot of light is being shed on the issues. Now, with the recent events pertaining to George Floyd, I don't care what race you are. I don't care about your religion. I don't care about your background, where you came from. Every single human being should be able to look at that situation and say, you know what? That was wrong. It shouldn't have happened, right? And the thing is, it's resulted in rioting, buildings burning, looting, and all kinds of stuff. And I get it. You got to remember that I'm the same guy that made a video, about popping trunk about a cashier that just didn't want to fix my car right. So I understand about an event happening and we getting upset. But I'm telling you, the way we are handling this is the most non-productive of ways. See, the days of no justice, no peace have proven to be dinosaur tactics. The days of marching through city streets have proven to be nothing more than mere mild cardio for the masses. See, what we have to understand is that if we won't change, we have to realize that it's an inside job. Now, in my masterclass, which I'll leave a link to get 50% off of for the rest of the month, in my masterclass, The Recipe, I specifically talked about this. I specifically talked about this world being an illusion. In other words, this world is only a representation, is only a reflection of what's taking place in the real world. So where's the real world, you ask? The real world is our mind. The real world is the same place that we go when we go to sleep at night. The real world is where all of us will end up when death eventually comes knocking on our door. And the real world is where change has to take place to see it in the third dimension. Now this is nothing new. Brother Bobby Hemming has been speaking on this for years. Brother Bob Proctor gave one of the best examples on this when he talked about combing the mirror. What he said is, when a person gets up and goes and looks in the mirror and sees that their hair is messed up, they don't get the comb and start combing the mirror, because they're fully aware that that's only a reflection of what's real. He said they comb their hair if they want to see change. See, when we're marching down the streets and demanding justice and doing all these things, what we're actually doing is combing the mirror. What we need to be doing is going inside. What we need to be doing is fixing it from the real world. That's the only way we're going to see change. Now, another thing that I've noticed is that collectively, we're all wanting change in the world. But at the same time, we forfeited our power to create change by allowing some outside of ourselves to quarterback our emotions, right? And what I mean by that is this. When we cut the television on and see 90% of what they're putting out, we have to understand that that's not to inform us. They can talk about economic collapse. They can talk about death tolls. They can show me, pictures over and over of a man that looked just like me, getting murdered on the streets. That's not to inform me. I'm seeing my neighbors lose jobs. I'm 40 plus years old. I've been a black man my whole life. I understand what's taking place in these streets. So when they show me these images, it's not to inform me. What you have to understand is that the things that we watch on television are meant to alter us. Because as soon as they can get us out of our emotional state of love and calm, brother, they've disarmed us. But because once a brother isn't vibrating right with his emotions, he has absolutely no power. So it's imperative that we understand this. Now, one thing we have to do is stop believing the hype, right? Now, every day I get on IG, I can see people making memes about, how bad 2020 is and the bottom is falling out and the world is coming to an end, right? Now I don't participate in those kind of memes because I understand the repercussion, in buying into that, right? Just like the brother and I were talking about yesterday on a live stream, 2020 is my best year. The 2020 is the year I've made the most money. I'm killing it in the stock market. I'm making some power real estate moves. When everybody is talking about where to get masks and overdosing on hand sanitizer, I'm booking trips to Peru. And does that mean I'm special? No, it doesn't mean I'm special. All it means is I haven't bought into the hype. All it means is I'm amongst the people that fully understand that we write our own narrative. Now, understanding that we can write our own narrative, why don't we take that same knowledge and apply it to the equality we want? Why don't we take that same knowledge and apply it to bringing justice to the world? I'm telling you, brothers, it is an inside job. The change that we're wanting, it starts within us. Now, at the end of the day, I'm not sitting here saying that we shouldn't be on the courthouse steps, raising our voice, letting those in authority know how we feel, right? But we have to understand that doing this is only to raise awareness to more people on the planet, right? This is not to spark change. Again, because this would be simply combing the mirror. If we want change, we simply have to change our thoughts, change our beliefs, and they'll eventually change our world.
Eddie!